this video will be edited. These tanks that I said they're $18, $19, they do not come filled. You pay $18.90 something, $19 for an empty tank that's refillable. Okay, so I do apologize for that in this video, that I said these came with a pound of propane in them. They do not. They are empty. So hopefully in this video I will show you how to fill them. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, thought I'd come and do another little video here. Something I just got. I haven't used it yet, but I wanted to give it a try. And I've seen tons of videos on this, so let's get started here. I'll show you what I got. Of course, I know you've seen the opening of the video, the thumbnail. I had gotten Fuel Keg propane canisters. Now, of course, you know you can buy these at Walmart. I think Tractor Supply, Royal King, probably different places. I don't know for sure everywhere. I know you can get them at Amazon. But this is the Fuel Keg 1 pound propane tanks that you can. It's by Mr. Heater. You know, you can use these for your propane lanterns, your Mr. Buddy heater, anything that requires a 1 pound tank. Let me get one and I can show you. This is the regular Coleman 1 pound tank, and you know, there's a ton of videos on how to refill these, and I'll show you a couple of things that you can use to refill them, but these are not intended to be refilled. In fact, it's against the law to refill one of these and drive around with it in your automobile. Not sure what the reasoning is by that, but the Mr. Heater Fuel Keg, it's labeled right here, refillable propane tank. It's a 1 pound tank, refillable. And the difference in these tanks is, you can see both of them have a little valve right here, and the threads, if I can get this off, same threads. You see, I had to struggle with that. This doesn't have any threads in it. It's just a cap that goes over it. And you can see there's where your stove, your lantern, or whatever hooks into. With the Mr. Heater, these are actual knobs that screw off, and they don't have a rubber top in it or anything like that. It's just a cover to protect your threads, and the inside of it looks identical, other than you will notice this little spot right here. Not on this one. And of course, I'll just put the plastic cap back on there. But another difference you'll also see, you see this. Now these are full, so I'm not going to turn it, but this key ring, you turn this a quarter of a turn to the left. Only when you're refilling it. Now you can turn it, this is what I've seen, I haven't tried. You can turn it to the left and you see nothing happened. And the reason why nothing happens is because of that little pin that you can see right down in there. I'll explain more about that. But you can put this back on. Now I do have the brass that has the rubber cap or piece inside to put on these, but like I said, these are just for protecting the threads. They're reusable, whatever, but if there would happen to be any leak, there's nothing to prevent it from, I guess, coming out. But these here, even with this on, I mean, if there's a leak, you're going to smell it, because I have known of these, you know, use a torch on them, take the torch off, and that center pin in there doesn't seat correctly, and You can smell the gas, it's still leaking, you can hear it. These probably would do the same thing, I don't know. All the reviews I've seen, no. But for the Mr. Heater Fuel Keg tanks, you have to have this, which is the Mr. Heater Fuel Keg Propane Tank Refill Kit. I just got this yesterday. I haven't even got it out of the package yet, but basically it comes with 3 plastic legs that you put. I'll show you the picture here if they show it. Yeah, right here. You put these on the top of your tank. Of course, this tank's turned upside down, and it helps to stabilize your tank when you turn it upside down. And you've already got the valve and refill point on your tank. But we're going to get into that here in just a minute, and I'll show you what is available for refilling these. So hold on just a second. What you're going to see here for refilling 1 pound tanks is I've initially bought this. This is a Mr. Heater propane tank refill adapter. But all this does is screw on to your 20-pound propane tank, and then I think it's this end screws on. I don't even think I've had this one out of the package. Yeah, this end, let me just get it out. This end here is what will screw into your 1 pound tank. This end here, the little rubber O-ring, this screws into your 20-pound tank. Then you'd screw this bottle in. You would then, of course, your 20-pound tank will be upside down. You open up your tank and you let the fluid go into the 1 pound tank. The thing is, with doing the Coleman tanks, you have to weigh this, have a set of scales when it's empty and weigh it. And then, you know, these hold 1 pound of liquid, and you would fill it, and by using this, you just listen. Once it equalizes, because you can hear the liquid going in here, and then once it equalizes, you won't hear it no more. You turn your valve off on your 20-pound tank, and you unscrew this. You weigh it. It may weigh, you know, half a pound, a little more than half a pound. And then what you have to end up doing is bleeding the air off by pushing down on the hole. I've seen some people take real small needle nose and pull up. I think it's pull up on this valve. It looks like a tire pressure, a tire valve. But I've seen people push down on the center just to bleed some air off. They screw it back on, turn the gas back on in their propane, and then let it equalize again until you don't hear the liquid going in. And then cut your 20-pound tank off, pull this out. And that's a lot of back and forth, back and forth. You don't want to exceed a pound. Most people stop at about, you know, I want to say 0.85, 0.9, whatever, where they're not at a pound, and refill these. And another way to do it is this here, which I haven't used. This screws on your 20-pound tank, and this gauge, I don't know if it tells you what's in your 20-pound or what's in your 1 pound. But you put this onto your 20-pound, turn it upside down, and then screw the 1 pound tank into this, and then you have a ball valve here that opens and closes to let the gas in. Okay, but again, you still have to weigh. I don't think this tells you how much is in your 1 pound tank because of its location. But you'd still have to weigh this to make sure. Now, with that out of the way, oh, and I did, like I said, I've got the brass caps to go on this. They'll go on this too. I'll get this out of the way. Here's the fuel keg. And it comes with instructions, of course. I wish one of these tanks was empty, but I haven't had to use one yet because I've got several of the 1 pound Coleman tanks. But, you know, I will talk about the cost here. These full from the store are about $18, $19. Okay, for one. But again, that is a refillable, no problem, don't have to worry about it. These here are almost $5 a bottle. You get a pack of 2 for $9.98 or something like that. These are not to be refilled. I think it may even tell you that they're not refillable. I really don't see it, but these were not designed to be refilled. So the thing is, with the cost of propane, let's just round the number up, $5 for this. You use it, you throw it away. You have to go buy another one. Okay, don't cost much to make these tanks, but you go buy another one. Where here, yes, it's a little expensive. You know, $18, $19 for this. It's full. Okay, and if you have a 20-pound tank, which everybody who has a gas grill or a camper, they've got a 20-pound tank or several 20-pound tanks. And you've got it and it's full. I mean, you know, you can get the blue rhinos, you can exchange them and it depends on where you're at, how much they cost. I've seen it $19 for an exchange. I've seen it high as $24 for an exchange. But you have that liquid propane in there and then you can refill these. And it's cheaper. I mean, you have a refillable container and it's, I don't want to say pennies on the dollar, but you've got the 20-pound tank, you're refilling these. These are portable, you can take with you, where the 20-pound tank is huge, it's heavy. You can refill these, you know, out of that 20-pound tank. I mean, it's 20 pounds, but there's usually about 17, 18 gallons of fuel in it, actual propane liquid. And that's what you're putting in here. And you can refill these 10, 15, 16 times out of that 120-pound tank. So when you think of paying $5 for a 1 pound tank, and then having this tank, the initial cost being as high as it is, but the amount of times you can refill it and keep refilling it over and over again. So with that out of the way, now the fuel, this particular, you know, it's made for this, and I'll show you why it's made for this. You can't use this one on a 1 pound Coleman tank at all. It's made for this, won't work on any other. And I'll show you why here in a minute. I'm gonna pull this out of the box. Get the box out of the way. Here's the feet that go on your, there's 3 of them. They're plastic. Go on the top of your 20-pound tank. Here's the 3rd one. And then in here, I have to break out the trusty knife. Okay, here is the screws for those legs. I forgot to mention that those are screwed on to the tank. They had that thing in there real good. these screws go in here. Go ahead and put them in. They just thread in, and they'll come through and grab that handle of that 20-pound tank. So basically, you know, you're going to take that tank, once you get these on there and tighten down, you're going to turn it upside down, and it'll be setting on these. Keep that tank stable. Now here is this end, of course, screws into your 20-pound tank. This, and if you'll notice, see that pin right there? Now that's metal. I think it might be brass, I'm not 100% sure. Here's your actual fill line, but this here, as I showed you on the 20-pound, or on the 1-pound tank, you have that little pin right there. This pin pushes down on that pin, which then causes this little hole right here. That's the bleeder hole. So that's the reason why right now, if I turn this, it doesn't go psst or nothing. Only when that has been depressed. Okay, so that's a safety feature right there. But this would go, and you'd have to line it up. And there's you can see the little half moon right here where this pin would go down in there. Okay, and then you thread that on. It's got a rubber gasket right there. And then all you do is turn your propane on your 20-pound tank. You have this hooked up, you have this bleeder valve open, and then you'd push this down to let the gas go in. And you would let the gas go in until this thing starts spurting out the liquid. It'll spit it out, and then once you see a steady stream coming, then you shut it off. If you've ever been around when they fill your 20-pound propane tanks, you'll watch these guys, and on the valve of a 20-pound tank, there's a screw on the side of that valve. They take a screwdriver, they turn it, then they start putting the propane out of the 500-gallon tank into the 20-pound tank, and they'll keep filling it until it starts spurting out propane, and when it does, they turn the propane off that's going in, close that screw. That tank, 20-pound tanks require a screwdriver. Now there's another brand, I can't remember the brand of it, that has basically this same setup, but instead of this ring right here, there's an Allen screw in here, and you have to have an Allen wrench. The only drawback to that brand is because you have to have an Allen wrench. And so you have to keep one of those with you. With this, with the Mr. Heater Fuel Keg, you don't have to have that Allen wrench. It's right here, and so you don't have to worry about, I've lost my Allen wrench, I can't fill my tank or whatever. But once that has started spewing, you let off of this, and then unscrew the tank, or this, unscrew the tank from this, and when you're done, of course, you're going to have your propane turned off, unscrew this, stand your tank back up, take the feed off of it. So, like I said, I wish one of these was empty, but it's not, and I may do a video when one of these is empty and show you how it actually is done with this. But this here with the legs, this refill mechanism here is $30. So, I've got two tanks that way. One goes empty, I can put the other one on and refill this one. But I know at deer camp we've used the propane lanterns outside, and in the winter when we're hunting up there, it gets dark early, so if you're outside and you're running the lanterns, you may get one night out of 1 pound tank. You might get a night and a half, you know. I don't know how long they burn, but you go through a lot of them. I know right now I've probably got about 10 empty Coleman 1 pound tanks. That's the reason why I initially bought this, and then I ended up with the hose to fill those 1 pound tanks. But after, like I said, doing a lot of research, found out about these. I've seen the other brand, but I like these because of this feature right here. So I went with these. But I just want to do this video. I know it's a lot of talking, some showing, but not actually showing you filling those. But there's tons of videos on how to fill these. There's tons of videos on how to fill the Coleman. It all depends on how you want to go. But for me, this is the safest way to go. Okay, everybody. Told you I was going to show you how to fill it. I've got my propane tank here. It's got some fuel in it. And I've got the stuff to fill the fuel keg, which, if you've seen in the video, I said does not come with any fuel in it. So you pay $18.98, $19 for this fuel keg, and it's empty. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, I told you about these legs that come with it, their feet. I'm going to put these feet on, tighten the screw down. This will help keep your tank stable so it's not wobbling or anything. So right now, we'll turn the tank over. Like I said, this has got fuel in it. Don't know how much fuel, but it has fuel. And I'm going to have it sitting here close to the edge. I'm going to screw on the Mr. Heater system for refilling. Tighten that down. Okay. Then you take your tank and, like I said, you got to line up that little pin in there. I'll try to zoom in so you can see that little pin that's in there with this. You can see the pin right here. And once you get it lined up, start screwing that on. Okay, and I'm going to open up the bleeder valve, and we'll turn the gas on, because what you're doing, you're putting liquid propane into this cylinder, and you're going to hear it spray. It's going to be the air escaping out of this. And it takes about a minute. You'll start seeing propane. That's the reason why I got gloves on. Coming out that hole. It'll start spurting out. And you want a kind of a steady stream. See it there? Okay, so there we should have a full tank. Once you're done, turn your propane off. And then unscrew it. Okay. And now I can hear it. I don't think you can, but there's a full tank of gas in here. And I'll put this cap back on it. Set it out of the way. I will remove the valve. Put that back in the plastic bag that it was in, just to keep any dirt or anything from getting in it. And I picked up one of those little canvas bags that I will keep this in. Turn my tank back over. Take the feet off. Put them in this bag. And I can actually put the tank in the bag. And then I have a tank of fuel in here, the refill kit with the feet, filled it from this 20-pound tank. Now, like I said, I do apologize. I mentioned earlier in the video that you get a full 1-pound tank when you buy these new, but you don't. You pay roughly $19 for an empty can. Now, you know, I told you about this valve. Now, I'll take the cap off. Like I said, you got that small pin in there that has to be pressed down for it to do anything. This cap does not press that down. And I can take this and turn it, and there's no air coming out. None at all. No fuel, no air, because that's not pressed down. I close it, and it's closed off. So, that's the fuel keg from Mr. Heater, and the refill kit from Mr. Heater. In the long run, you know, like I said, everybody's got 20-pound tanks. In the long run, that's going to save you a lot of money buying those Coleman or other brand 1-pound tanks that are disposable. So that was me filling that up. You got to see it in this review video. Appreciate you watching J&J True Outdoor Adventures. We'll see you in the woods. Thanks for watching.